Welcome back to Shy's Big New Who rewatch. I'm Shy. I love all things geeky, spooky, nerdy, horror, especially Doctor Who. So I have been rewatching the whole of New Who, starting with Chris Eccleston, to celebrate it being 21 years since the revival graced our screens with its presence. So essentially, I'm going to be doing from Christmas Invasion, which is Ten's first episode, all the way to Girl in the Fireplace. So this could be a long video because I like a lot of the episodes in this. So with Christmas Invasion, we will start here, start as we mean to go on. So I love Christmas Invasion. I think it's a very good first regeneration episode. It is the episode where, again, we're living vicariously through Rose because this is the first time that a lot of people have seen a regeneration because they may not have watched Classic Who. And this regeneration was very different to what we've seen, because we've seen sort of the face morphing. We had the really weird regeneration, where it kind of looked like he was covered in stone when he was on the floor. And then all of a sudden, yeah. So, yeah, this may be the first regeneration that people have seen of the Doctor, and that's fine. That's all good. But yeah, so we are living through Rose in those moments as well. It's a very Doctor Light episode, and this is, I think, the first Doctor Light episode that we get so far in the revival. Obviously, there are a few more. But yeah, I like the fact that it's a Doctor Light episode, to be honest. I like that he's asleep and it's seeing what would happen if the Doctor didn't immediately come to the rescue and save everyone, basically. We see Harriet Jones again, but this time she's the Prime Minister, which is bizarre, completely bizarre, because last time we saw her, she was Harriet Jones, MP, Flydale North. No one was really listening to her. She was one of the OG Karens because she was like, right, I don't care that the world's on fire. I had a meeting about social care, budgeting. So she just did not give two shits at all about what the agenda was. She just wanted her needs met, which, pop off. So it's seeing how they would react should there be an issue. We then have the idiot who was like, oh, do you know what? We're going to send this thing into space with, songs of the human race and a message of hope, a message of peace, whatever. And a vial of human blood? A positive? So essentially, giving aliens the tools in which to control the blood of the human race, a third of the human population. And that to me is just a little bit mad. I'll be entirely honest. I think it's absolutely nutballs. The fact that he was like, yeah, that's a great idea. We're going to give human DNA to unknown aliens. Also, when he was like, yeah, maybe they're not Martians. And then the unit soldier was just like, well, of course not. Like, it would have been so much funnier if he was like, are you, like, it would have been funnier if he was like, oh, are you a space racist? Like, of course not. That's not what Martians look like. Bloody idiot. Because that's how he sort of said it, was as if like, yeah, of course they're not Martians. Obviously, they turn out to be Sycorax. The most we get of David is towards the end, obviously, but throughout the episode, he gets woken up a little bit here and there, and then is sent straight back to bed to deal with his regeneration. Obviously, Rose is concerned of like, why is his face changed? But not in the same way that Clara is, and obviously I'll get into that when we have the Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi regeneration, because yeah, that's a different thing entirely. So we are living through her, we are having the same worries as her, that what if he's different? What if there's parts of him that are completely different. What if he doesn't like the same things? What if he doesn't stand for the same things that he used to? Because this is a completely different dude as far as she's concerned. He's just calling himself the Doctor. But yeah, we then deal with all of that. We deal with the Sycoraxes. Obviously, the references in this kind of age it. Not in a good or bad way, really. The JK one. Yeah, yeah. The Lion King reference was welcome. It's always welcome. But we see the Doctor figuring out who he is because he has no clue. At this point, he's like, I don't know. Like, am I rude? Am I sarcastic? Like, I'm a little bit sexy. Like, who am I? Who am I? And it's very like Eighth Doctor realness with the whole who am I? But we see Rose help him figure that out as time goes on. And yet, obviously, the hand comes off, which is something that we then see later on that Jack has picked it up because they love sprinkling in stuff like that. And yeah, the rise and fall of Harriet Jones is real. It's real. Because all it took was like 6 words. Don't you think she looks tired? And then, not fit for office anymore. Let's move on to the next episode. New Earth. And it's not that I don't like New Earth. I just feel like it's a bit lackluster when you look at episodes like School Reunion, episodes like Girl in the Fireplace, Age of Steel. Like, all of these episodes are amazing. And then, yeah, New Earth's kind of a bit lackluster. It's also the second time, coincidentally, that Cassandra has been the villain in the Doctor's second story. But yeah, so we see Cassandra, she does her little bit. It's also another instance of an actress being reused because Sister Jack then ends up coming back as Martha's mum because pretty much the whole family do except for the dad and the brother, I think. They're either in it before they're Martha's family or they're Martha's family and then they're in it again afterwards. But I'll get into that when we get to that. The face of Bo calls the Doctor back into this hospital, which you can tell is the Wells Millennium Centre. I'm just saying. I may have been there a few times. So I'm fully aware that it is the Millennium Centre. And, it's obvious. Yeah, I love when a filming location is kind of obvious though, because then when I go to Cardiff, I'm like, yeah, they filmed Doctor Who here. Which you could say about every fucking street corner, to be perfectly honest. So Cassandra in Rose is funny. Cassandra in The Doctor is hilarious, and I feel like we need to have more instances of Camp David. I don't know. I just enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So the face of Bo calls the Doctor in, and it seems like this is going to be the last time that they see each other because he's dying. But no, he's then like at the end of the episode, oh well, there's going to be a third and final time that we meet, and until then, deuces, and then just evaporates, just leaves, after people have been cured of essentially the plague, and Cassandra dies in her own arms because ultimate narcissist move, if I'm entirely honest, because obviously she goes into chip, and then obviously the body is dying. And she gets held by herself. Ultimate narcissism as Cassandra. Yeah, so that is the end of the Bitchy Trampoline, except obviously in audio and all of that lovely stuff. But I think this maybe should have been the Face of Bo's last episode, and he should have done the whole, Yana thing. But he didn't. And, that's on sort of stretching things out, I guess, when it comes to Doctor Who, which is what T. Davis likes to do. sometimes. I think it's about time that we move on to Tooth and Claw, don't you? So, with Tooth and Claw, this is the Doctor Who that I love. This is the area of Doctor Who that I adore. The dark episodes, the episodes where there's like some kind of actual like dark, spooky monster that makes you hide behind the sofa as a child. I love that. Absolutely love that. So, this time it is a werewolf. This is the first time that the Doctor has faced, well, not faced, but, met in this incarnation a historical figure. And that historical figure is Queen Victoria. It's also the first time that we hear David use his actual accent as the Doctor. One line has not aged incredibly well, and that is, oh yeah, I've been chasing this naked child. I'm not going to do the Scottish accent. I'm not going to put you through that. But yeah, like, oh, I've been chasing this naked child, up and yonder. Also saying he's from Balamory, because, yeah, he likes to be funny. But yeah, we see their dynamic kind of grow. The sexual tension is sexual tensioning. Because anyone that says that Ten and Rose don't have romantic feelings for each other or, don't have that tension is a liar, is a big fat liar. And we do not stand for little lying laymen on this channel. So, getting back to the Tooth and Claw of it all, everything is connected, and I absolutely love that everything is connected. We see, obviously, them turn up at a house that is called Torchwood. Which, tell me you want to advertise Torchwood without telling me you want to, without saying you want to advertise Torchwood, because it was mentioned in the Christmas Invasion about getting Torchwood involved. And now, obviously, Torchwood. And at the end, Queen Victoria's like, yeah, I will call it the Torchwood Institute. So, yeah, tell me you want to advertise for your new show without telling me you want to advertise for your new show. And obviously, Doctor Who's code name when casting used to be Torchwood because it's an anagram of Doctor Who. But anyway, I'll do a rewatch of Torchwood at some point as well when my little heart can take it, can take everything that happens in that show. And once I've mourned the loss of Yanto's shrine fully. So yeah, anyway, back into the Tooth and Claw. I'm just going to ramble in this one, I swear to God. So if you aren't into rambling, then apologies. If you are, then you are definitely in the right place. So we find out that the evil karate monks, which, hell of a way to start an episode, by the way, karate monks, although it is very on brand for this era of Doctor Who to have a piercing scream followed by the titles, because they do it several times, or they'll have someone shouting for the Doctor and then immediately titles, which we will see in Girl in the Fireplace. So they have people trapped with the werewolf who is in a cage. And the monks have just basically took over. They took over because they want the crown. They want the crown. They want the glory. They want to be in charge. Little do they know the Doctor is not going to let that happen at all. So Rose is just trying her hardest. She really wants that tenner. She really, really wants that tenner from the Doctor. For this bet of who can get Queen Victoria to say, we are not amused. Which she does in the end, bless her. She manages to. But yeah, Queen Victoria, also a werewolf. Now, I love when Doctor Who adds things to historical canon. Like Frankenstein being based off of a Cyberman, which we'll get to in the Jodie Whittaker era, I am sure. Because I will continue it through the Jodie years as well, because I said full New Who rewatch, and I mean full New Who rewatch. So yeah, I like Tooth and Claw as an episode because it is very dark. It's dark, it's gritty, it's why couldn't Queen Victoria be a werewolf? Why not? Why couldn't she be? But I think it's time to talk about my favourite episode, if I'm honest. And that is School Reunion. It is my favourite season 2 episode because Sarah Jane Smith, speaking of spin-off shows, Sarah Jane Adventures obviously comes out not too long after this. Because, yeah, 10 made an appearance, so it can't have been too long after this. So we see her back. Obviously, the Doctor is teaching physics for whatever reason they have entrusted him to teach children, which is the pipeline from him being a teacher who just really says with physics about 30 times before he even starts a lesson. The pipeline from that to him becoming a uni lecturer when he's Capaldi, very interesting pipeline. So we see Sarah Jane, we see K9. I love K9. Oh, I had a remote control K9 when I was a child. Still don't know for the life of me where that went. But I digress. So we have Sarah Jane, we have Mickey feeling like the tin dog and not really able to do anything. Mickey is quite funny in this episode. I've got to say, it is a shame about Mel Clark and everything that happened with him. Why did he have to sully the good name of Mickey Smith? So Rose is in the canteen, hating life, but loving chips. Anthony Head is the most incredible villain. I think he was born to play villains. I love Buffy. I'm a huge Buffy fan. And Giles is one of my favourite Buffy characters. And the fact that, like, Anthony Head has never played the Doctor, never played the Master, never played, like, the Time Meddler, I think he'd make a great Time Meddler. Like, Meddling Monk? I'm just thinking of what Time Lord he could play, quite honestly. But he played a Krillitane. And what I like is that they explain that the Krillitane change form and they take things from the people that they destroy. So they took wings from people that they destroyed. And they now take on the form of human every so often. Why did no one think to unplug the computers until Mickey unplugged them? This is my question. Like, why could all the smart people in the room not think, oh hey, we're gonna unplug it? The line that sticks with me for the whole, literally from this whole episode is, "We are in a car." I don't know why, but that was a vocal stim of mine for far too long. Because obviously Mickey's like, oh, is there a way that we can open it? Have you got lasers or something? And he's just like, we are in a car. And he's like, we are in a car. It's like, yes, listen to the tin dog. Listen to the tin dog. The fighting over the Doctor is quite funny. And the fact that it's like, yeah, I've battled these people. I've met these people. No. I know the Doctor better than you. But again, it's that exploration as well of what happens after they are left unsupervised by the Doctor, essentially. What happens when the Doctor just leaves them? Sarah Jane never got a goodbye. She never got a goodbye. But she does at the end of this episode, and I love that. Just for closure purposes. You can tell that David was in his element, though. You can absolutely tell that he was in his element. You can tell because he was such a huge Doctor Who fan. His favourite era was the Tom Baker era, and who was one of the predominant companions? Sarah Jane Smith. Because she is a lot, like, legend. She's an absolute legend. But yeah, having Elizabeth Sladen back, just R.I.P. Liz Sladen, was just such a wonderful treat for an episode. It was really well acted. It was intense. It was weird. It was, had that element of realism as well as, like, the supernatural, like, alien-y elements to it. And having Mickey Smith as a time traveller, because she's like, there's got to be a Smith. Have a Smith on the TARDIS. I think that's absolutely wonderful, wonderful idea, as we see in the next episode. I like that Sarah Jane finally got her goodbye. That she finally got some level of closure that she needed. because it's hard for the companions that get left behind. It really is. Let's get into Girl in the Fireplace, which is the last episode that we're going to be talking about this video, because yeah, I want to do them in sections of like 4 or 5 and then move on to the next, because otherwise who is realistically going to sit and watch like a 2 hour long video essay on Doctor Who? Like, I mean, me. But anyway, so Girl in the Fireplace is one of the best episodes of all time. It is one of my favourite episodes of all time. It is one of my favourite episodes in season 2. I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. I nearly messed up on phenomenal then. Phenomenal. So I think that it is acted impeccably. You can always tell a Moffat episode, in my opinion. So is it convoluted? Probably Moffat. Does it include time travel, but 2 people working on completely different timelines, but still meeting each other along the way? Yes, then it's probably Moffat. Does it involve some kind of scary monster that definitely made you hide behind the sofa as a child? Then it's probably Moffat. And yeah, it has all these things. I'm not saying that this was a prelude to The Girl Who Waited, but Renette met the Doctor when she was a little girl. And then, you know, he disappeared for a little bit. We're not including the middle bit where she was asleep. But you know, she then comes back after several years, and she's a woman all of a sudden. She's a woman. I mean, I'm not saying that Renette would have like bitten psychiatrists, but I think that she was probably a little bit messed up by the fact that the Doctor just kind of came and went out of her life through her fireplace. But yeah, I'm not saying that it is a prelude, and I'm definitely not saying that the different timelines thing is a prelude to River Song, but it just might be. Like, maybe he got inspiration from himself, and if he did, that is a baller move. That is a really baller move to be like, yeah, oh, where did you get the inspiration for The Girl Who Waited and for, you know, River's timeline? Myself in 2006. I would love for that to be the case. I would absolutely love for that to be the case. That would be awesome. So yeah, Moffat's episodes are usually like quite dark, quite creepy, but yeah, this one has a lot of heart. It also has a lot of romance. What is it with David Tennant, like his iteration of the Doctor, and blondes? Because it's ridiculous. Like, why on earth does he fall for these blonde women? Obviously, there's Rose, there's Renette. Then in Voyage of the Damned, there's Astrid. He likes a blonde. I also find it kind of funny. There's reference in this episode and in the previous episodes called Reunion about like you know, him moving forward and his companion staying, you know, getting old and things like that, and him never talking about them and Rose not wanting to be forgotten. I think there's that it's kind of quietly funny because he then mopes about her for an entire season. Bless Martha. She was never gonna like have a patch on Rose, like at all, was she? Like, just ever. She had no chance. But yeah, he pines over her for a whole damn season. But we will get to that when we get to it. Rose and Mickey, while the Doctor is off gallivanting, getting drunk, having horse adventures, and snogging Madame de Pompadour, they are left unattended, like kids being left home alone. They grab a weapon or, you know, a fire extinguisher gun, and then, you know, proceed to just walk around the ship. I love the design of the human elements of this ship. I love how creepy it is. I love the eye stalk. I've always loved the design of the eye stalk camera. I think it's brilliant because, you know, eye in the sky. like that kind of concept, but an actual physical eye. Also kind of reminds me of Mad Eye Moody in the series that shall not be named because evil turf woman. Yeah. But anyway, um, so it's very cool to have like that disembodied eye. The heart is also really, really fun and really, really creepy. It's one of those things that's like obviously, she's incomplete and things like that. And then working out why is she incomplete. I also find it kind of funny when the king gets jealous of the doctor. Because it's like, bro, that is your mistress. Like, she's your mistress. She ain't your wife. Like, she is your bit on the side. But, it's France. So she was his official mistress. Her and the queen got on famously. And, yeah, she just lived. She lived there. So the clockwork droids were attempting to wait and stalk Renette through time until she was ready to be harvested, which is nuts, just to start with. But also go into the effort of dressing in the cosplay that they did, essentially. So they went for like the powdered wig, the makeup, just every little intricate detail, the ruffles, the like little pantaloon things, like the detail and the effort was crazy just to blend in when they ticked anyway. So yeah, absolutely nuts, crazy craziness that they went to all of that effort. Obviously, Tennant stopped them. We get the iconic scene of him jumping through the mirror on his horse. Also, drunk Tennant is really funny. Like the doctor drunk, like, oh yeah, I think I might have just accidentally invented a banana daiquiri ages before it's supposed to happen. They'd never even seen a banana before. And then, like, obviously later on, he goes on about fixed points in time and, you can't change anything, blah, blah, blah. And now he's just like, yeah, I invented things that don't exist. And it's like, right, okay. You know that by doing that, you've then stopped that being invented properly. The inventor's life will then go very differently, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he just don't care. He could not give a singular shit, to be honest. But I think the episode has a brilliant beginning. All the way through, you're kind of engaged in what's going on the screen. You're very much wondering what's going to happen, how they're going to resolve it, how they're going to stop these clockwork droids from coming back and harming Renette. The thing that I love the most at the end of this episode is the fact that she moved the damn fireplace. She got the fireplace moved from her childhood bedroom just so that the doctor could get through if he needed to. And how incredibly thoughtful is that? Like, Renette is one of those enigmatic women who, she's so kind, she's so lovely, she is also fierce. She is fierce as hell. I love the moments between her and Rose, except for when Rose asks her, "Are you okay?" Like, no, these weird robot things are hunting me down. And I just heard my own voice from 5 years in the future, begging for the doctor's help because the clock on the mantelpiece is broken. And, so it's time. And yeah, like, as if she's just supposed to, like, turn around and go, yeah, do you know what? I'm peachy. I'm absolutely peachy. It's like, no, no, she's not okay. And then she asks the doctor at some point, like, are you all right? And again, is he just supposed to turn around and go, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'm fine. Well, this has been a nice little adventure, isn't it? Like, Mickey and Rose had like a nice little night out, like walking around this spaceship, like, giddy little kids finding different stuff. And then, you had the doctor on kind of a separate story, but they both converge. And I like that. I like when the companions get to like explore on their own, even though Ten says, oh, well, I always tell them, rule number one, don't wander off when in fact we all know that the first rule with the doctor is that the doctor lies. So, just to end this video, I've been shy. And I talk about Doctor Who all the time, as well as all of my other nerdy, weird, spooky passions. So stay tuned for more of that here or over on my TikTok or Instagram, which are both linked on my channel. So yeah, if anyone is watching this, then hello, howdy, how are you? And yeah, I will be back with another video of the next 4 to 5 episodes. I think I'm going to do 5 for the next one. Within the next few weeks, hopefully. So yeah, I shall catch you then. Stay spooky.